Excuse me while I whip this out.
There's a classic scene in one of the funniest movies ever made, Blazing Saddles, where the sheriff takes himself hostage and threatens to do himself in if the dim-witted townspeople don't let the sheriff go on his merry way.
The next man makes a move, gets it.
Well, Boeing CEO Dave Calhoun's recent public threat reminded me of that Blazing Saddles scene, because the only one who would be harmed if they actually followed through with his threat would be Boeing. Still, Boeing CEO Dave Calhoun said he's ready to cancel the 737 MAX-10 program if Congress doesn't extend a regulatory deadline that would allow the jet to enter service without an upgrade to the 737 crew alerting system. Well, we're going to talk about just that next on Maximus. Greetings everybody, Maximus here. I hope you're all doing well wherever you may be, all around this great big world of ours. So canceling the largest member of the MAX family, which has about 640 orders with prospects for more, including first ever MAX orders from Delta, would be a big blow to the MAX program. That would certainly curtail future job growth at the Renton assembly plant, but more importantly, it would leave Boeing with no viable competitive plane against a successful Airbus A321neo. Calhoun made his bold threat, which is clearly aimed at putting pressure on Congress in an effort to let Boeing slide on any further regulation of the already proven dangerous new 737 design. Oh, come on, you gotta be kidding me. After I had this entire video recorded and in the can, now this happens. Well, you're in for a treat or a train wreck, because this is going to be the first ever Maximus Aviation video mashup. Because I'm not going back to record this whole thing, so let's just take it as it comes. Breaking July 18, 2022, today for me actually, from Farnborough, England. Delta Airlines has confirmed that they have ordered 100 Boeing 737 MAX-10's, with options to purchase another 30 on similar terms. A top Delta executive said this marks a positive turn in a relationship that had gone awry. Delta has bought planes from Boeing for 50 years, but for the last 11 years, there has been somewhat of a drought. The low point came in 2017, when Boeing made an ill-advised and failed attempt to have the U.S. government impose tariffs to stop Airbus from selling its former Canadian Bombardier, now A220 jets, to Delta. But from then on until today, Delta hadn't bought a single plane from Boeing. Okay, you might ask, but wasn't Delta worried that Boeing was going to cancel the MAX-10 altogether?
You serious?
Well, I'm glad you asked, because according to Mahendra Nair, Senior Vice President at Delta responsible for its aircraft fleet, he said the commonality of the MAX-10 cockpit systems with other 737s was the biggest factor that drove the decision to buy the jets. And with that, Nair offered full support for Boeing's position that Congress should act to ensure that Boeing can get their largest MAX model certified without upgrading its systems. Oh, now I see. So Calhoun had this in his back pocket the whole time. You know, I'm starting to think it might be my sarcastic tone that keeps me from getting invited to the Farnborough Air Show every year like young DJ over there in Australia. Oh well. In an exclusive advanced Q&A with the trade magazine Aviation Week before Farnborough, Calhoun said that Boeing considers its current MAX-10 design an all-or-nothing package, which regulators must accept as is, without the safety upgrades some have pressed for. Well, isn't that just dandy? So even if the MAX-10 is unsafe and could take yet more lives, Calhoun is threatening Congress, squeezing them like some sort of two-bit crime boss. And frankly, if I were a member of Congress, I would be insulted to the point that I would tell them, go ahead, shoot yourself in the foot. But it is Congress we're talking about after all, so there's that. Regarding his threat, Calhoun said, this is a risk I'm willing to take. If I lose the fight, I lose the fight. He said a world without the MAX-10 is not that threatening. Huh? What the heck does that even mean? Calhoun added that Boeing believes the MAX-10 is safe, and that when Congress passed a law in 2020 requiring the new crew alerting upgrade, it never was intended to apply to any member of the MAX family. And I think our case is persuasive enough to get the necessary extension, Calhoun said. Congress passed the 2020 Aircraft Certification, Safety, and Accountability Act to improve oversight of airplane design by the FAA. It included a 2-year deadline after which all new plane designs must meet the latest safety standards for crew alerting systems. Those are the systems on the plane that tell the pilot what's wrong in real time if an incident occurs in flight. Nevertheless, at the time the legislation passed, lawmakers anticipated that the entire MAX jet family would be certified to carry passengers before the end of this year's deadline. But back in March, the FAA informed Boeing that their proposed schedule was unrealistic and that the MAX-10 was unlikely to be certified by the end of this year. For Boeing, the unexpected requirement suddenly loomed of upgrading the MAX-10, making its cockpit different from every other MAX model and requiring airlines to provide MAX-10 pilots with additional training, adding millions to the original price tag. So then what do Calhoun and Boeing hope to achieve by resorting to extortion against the federal government? Because as we speak, the Boeing MAX-10 as well as the 777X are performing at the Farnborough Air Show in the UK. And what is the main goal of the Farnborough Air Show? To sell aircraft. And why does Boeing have the MAX-10 over at Farnborough? To try and sell more MAX-10s. So those last few paragraphs you just heard were recorded before Monday's blockbuster Delta MAX-10 deal. But as you can see, I was quite prophetic, because that's exactly what happened, isn't it? However, at Farnborough, Delta executives were reminded that the MAX-10 doesn't meet new safety standards, and were asked about Calhoun's threat to cancel the program. Well, Delta wasted no time wading right into the politics, saying that it's essential to Delta that the MAX-10 have a common cockpit with both other MAXs and the older 737s. He said, I would even urge everybody, Congress, the FAA, to consider the fact that the commonality is the bellwether for us. That commonality is what helps us incorporate this airplane into our fleet. Well, now the cat's out of the bag. Calhoun knew this deal was coming so he could flex and puff out his chest and threaten Congress, because in these tough economic times there was no way congressmen or senators would agree to lose all those jobs and all that goes along with that for their districts back home. Okay, so once again, I recorded this before the breaking news. But Calhoun knows that congressmen represent states and cities who have citizens who need jobs. And what Calhoun and Boeing are actually doing is threatening to take away those jobs if they don't get their way. But in the end, in my humble opinion at least, it's all smoke and mirrors. And sadly at Boeing, even after the MAX tragedies, it's still all about profit over safety. See that? Prophetic again. But not really, because I know all of you just like me never thought for a minute Calhoun would really cancel the MAX-10 either. Well, that's going to wrap it up for now. So I think this is a great video for an Amazon $25 gift card giveaway. So the best comment, who's a verified subscriber, will win that prize. Could be funny, serious, or just intelligent and smart. But Maximus, how will you decide on the best comment? Well, like they say about porn, I'll know it when I see it. So good luck, and make sure you let me know down below. Oh, and a shout out to Barie for a cup of coffee. And if you would like to help support the work we do here, the Buy Me a Coffee and merch links are always found in the description. And if you think I've earned it, I'd like to encourage you to think about subscribing. And also don't forget to like, share, ring the bell, and remember, leave the rubber on the runway and your troubles on the ground. And I will see you next time in the air. Yeah, this is Maximus.